gonna go on our trip?
Italy.
Italy. Like, what's the name of the traveler? Bethany. So, what's the flight number?
3254.
This is the strangest thing. Look, on my bag since the beginning, there's been my luggage tag. But on the other side, it says something that's going to become really important. Come close. This is the strangest thing. Like, I'm going to unclip it. Look, you kind of, do you want to? Yeah, you do the little flap. There's a name for traveler. What's the name?
Bethany.
Bethany's going on a trip. Where's she going?
Italy.
Italy, and there's a flight number. What's the flight number?
3254.
How we doing, everybody? Luke Dancy here. I'm going to hang out for a few minutes with Danny Weiser, the creator of Manifest. You just saw the trailer. You just had a look at it. So we're going to talk about it. So Danny Weiser, it's good to see you again, sir.
Likewise, Luke. It's great to see you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah.
Manifest.
Yes, I didn't see this one coming. I didn't get it because I didn't predict it was coming. Now this is a nice kind of like off the beaten path thing for you, because people look at you in different ways, and now you're coming at them with some minimalism, some straight up minimalism, which is really cool for you. But it's done in the Danny Weiser way, where it's done with objects and situations that are pretty much everyday life. And I think that's what I really like about this, is that confabulation a lot of times is a story you make up as you go, and then you reveal it in kind of a disconnected way. You know what I'm saying? Now with this, you're planning a trip, so it only makes sense for the revelation to happen with something connected to going on a trip. So connecting that, it's great. It's great.
So the main layout of the routine is that it's so often the case when you go to the airport and someone picks up the wrong luggage.
Yep.
You know, pick it up on the belt, and then they're like, oh, that's not mine. They put it back down, moves on. So how crazy would it be if they actually picked it up, and this is the story that I tell. They actually picked it up, took it home, and they look at the luggage tag, and this is that person's name. So that's how it plays out usually. So many things, though, can be written on a luggage tag.
True.
Names, addresses, phone numbers, flight numbers, destinations, origins, the weight of the bag. You know what I mean? All those types of things can be put on, which just endless ideas.
Yep, absolutely.
Another really cool thing that could be done with this, and I don't know if anyone's really given it much thought. I haven't yet played with it, just because within the past week alone, I've been messing around with it. But to do a card to impossible location using this gimmick.
Well done, sir. Smart.
If you end up doing that and use that like that, please reach out to me. I'd love to see a video of it.
Cool.
But it's definitely doable.
Speaking of video stuff too, I've got this queued up. I was going to play this. This is actually part of the product page, so you guys can see the full performance on your dealer's website. This obviously is not you. This is Paul Romney here, and he's performing this, but he's doing it in a way that I'll let you tell them about. Obviously, this is done virtually. So why don't you kind of talk about that angle of this too?
Yeah, so since coronavirus hit, we've been stuck not being able to perform for live audiences in the flesh. So what we wanted to do, and we got Paul on board to, we actually sent him one of the gimmicks, and he's a professional. This guy works all over the world.
Yep.
He's really creative guy, he'll take a gimmick and do a whole 180 on it, or a whole 360, whichever one. But he does a really great job with it, and he took it to be able to do a full Zoom show using this as a 15-20 minute routine, which is pretty awesome. And everything's in full view.
I love it.
And he's using his frame, which is great. Through Zoom, the hardest thing is to try to keep people engaged, and I think that this is a really good trick that will help keep people engaged. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That was one big factor that I wanted to be able to give to other magicians, is to have the element of being able to use it online.
And the other nice thing about this too is that without giving away too much of the method here, this is also perfect for virtual shows because the method allows you to do things that you normally would have to do in a different way live. So you're not necessarily cheating, but you're definitely taking advantage of the virtual audience too. But it makes this seem even more impossible when you perform it this way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see right there, Paul has it literally right over his shoulder. That's it. He just did what he needed to do in order to get the information to match.
Yeah. And as people can see, the biggest difference, I guess you could say, is that during the routine, he wasn't having to write anything down in front of them.
Right.
So, yeah, it's much more hands-off looking to people when you perform that version. But
quick side note. When I showed you this a little while ago, you actually gave us a real good piece of advice when we used our notepad to write down on a piece of paper that we hand to the spectators, show that they match. Paul actually has a way to be able to have it written vertically, but the final result is horizontal.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, man. Yeah. I remember talking about that for sure.
Yeah, so we owe you that for sure.
And here we are, he's doing this again for someone else. You can see the framing's a bit different on this one. The bag is much further back. But either way, you guys get the idea that you could also do this, having it out in full view, and then go through and do the performance. So for those of you that are wanting to do something like this, well, technically now you still can, from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And I just want to point out the color of
Sure.
the wallet. Well, first, it's made out of leather, 100% leather. The reason why we went with a yellow wallet, is because of its wow factor. When it's sitting on stage on a black bag, or if it's sitting on your backpack or a purse, or you can even have it, just held here if you wanted to. It shows, like, the attention's drawn to it, which is awesome because you're not drawing attention to it, but you're subconsciously drawing attention to it, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it definitely stands out, but not like in a, what the hell's that kind of way.
It's not like it's not neon glowing.
Yeah.
But it's nice. I think it's nice. I'm biased, but
just a little bit.
Nice.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
No, and I want you guys to hear that too. That this is made out of leather, so it's not just some little plastic piece of crap. Like, this is something that's actually made to last. Just like the Weiser wallet, which we got to plug as well because it just came back in stock not too long ago. So
I'm proud of that.
Throw that in there a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So for those that are watching that are interested in this, everyone always wants to know if they can do it. Obviously, we're not going to sit here and give away secrets, but part of what we want to do is help people understand whether they can actually do this or not. So at the end of the day, who is able to perform something like Manifest? What's the skill level like for this one?
So, great question. This goes from beginner to the expert because there are routines that will allow you to... Well, first of all, the handling is super simple.
Yeah.
Okay. I, for one, am not a sleight of hand guy. I just am... I know some forces. I know some undercuts and cutting and all of the jargon. But when I create magic, I create it to be as simple to execute as possible, because I am not, as elegant as many other magicians. But I create to be simple. So when I put it out as well, that anyone who is a basic learner would be able to do this right out of the box. So we supply a notepad with it. We supply the gimmick itself, as well as some of the insert papers that you'll be able to put the information on. So we wanted to make it as super easy, as super simple as possible. And I think that someone who wants to get into mentalism would easily be able to do that and accomplish that with using this gimmick.
Very cool. What about refills? Obviously, you're writing stuff down each time. The prediction that appears in a luggage tag obviously is not going to be able to be used again because you've already written that once. Are there any worries about refills with this one for people that are kind of on the fence about it when it comes to that?
So I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure we give like 20 slips of those fill out papers inside. But you can always just take one of those papers and scan it.
Yep.
And, copy it multiple times. You can even get them off of Amazon. They're super, super cheap. You can get like 100 of them for like $5.
Cool. Very good.
Yeah.
It's always one thing people think, oh no, he's ripping off pieces of paper, he's doing this. Like, that's something that we want to make sure that you guys are not worried about. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, they're less. If you can take one and then make copies of it, you'll be able to have hundreds.
Yep.
And you just print them. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we got for you guys, we got the difficulty level. I know you always want that. Are there any kind of performing situations people should be aware of? Like, I know you talked about you could do this in a lot of different ways, but could this work close up? Could it work stand up? Could it work stage? Why don't we talk about not necessarily angle specific, but where this could work? Where could you perform this? Even street magic, I'm assuming, because I saw some of the clips. This could even be done close up, right? Like super close up.
Yeah. So you'll notice in the trailer, one of the performers has it on his backpack, and has two girls on either side of him, and they're kind of like, they're not in this frame, but they're more to the side, so that the magician could be seen by the video, but they didn't see anything. So angles are really, really good. You can do this. I wouldn't say fully surrounded, but you can definitely do this pretty hidden. There is a routine. Pretty sure there's the routine on the tutorial where you can, once the notepad is closed, you can pretty much be surrounded, if that makes any sense.
Cool.
But I would keep it to a surrounded. I would probably do maybe like 180 worth.
Yep.
But
sure.
It can be done, performed close up. It's performed stage, performed on Zoom. You could do it in parlor shows, smaller shows like Magic Castle size shows.
Yep.
It's really, it lends to a lot of different, environments for sure.
Cool. And I will say too, I'll be the business guy here for a second. If you look at other confabulation routines that are out there, especially ones that are this flexible, well, actually they're not all this flexible, I should say, but a lot of the ones that you perform are priced pretty high. And I would say one of the pluses about this one, just like the Weiser wallet, is you have found a way to bring down the price on something that's very, very powerful and, is very fooling, and it's not just another card trick. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, this can buy you 20 minutes of stage time. And 20 minutes of stage time to a working professional is huge.
Yep.
Huge. I mean, this can tell a whole story, You can even, if you want to even take this further and do like a further confabulation of objects inside the bag.
Nice.
They brought a beach ball. They brought a rubber ducky. Whatever comes to mind, you can probably do. But it could be fleshed out to a full, even more full routine than it already is.
True that. And again, $45. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's people out there that would pay that much for a single deck of collector playing cards these days.
Yeah, that's true.
Not more, much more, but yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, and again, it is nice, guys, if you're just joining us here, the performing flexibility, you could do this on your virtual shows too. We were showing clips of that earlier, if you want to take a look back at that stuff. So this one does play for everybody out there. And
I do want to say just one more thing before I cut you off. I apologize. The effect does not use carbon paper.
Cool.
If that helps at all. I know some people don't like using carbon paper. Some people love using carbon paper. This does not use carbon paper at all.
That's definitely a highlight for a lot of people. And I was thinking of asking you that, but I didn't know how deep you wanted to go when it came to the method. Not that we're really giving away much by saying that, but you heard it from the man himself. No carbon paper, none of that good stuff. So there we go. All right.
For those that didn't know that carbon paper was ever used, you're welcome. If anyone has further questions, they can just leave a question below, and I can come back to the page and try and answer it myself. Or if they want to send me a private message, they could do that too. Pretty straightforward trick.
Yeah.
Or a pretty straightforward routine, for that matter.
But do you happen to know how many routines or what type of routines are included on the instructional? And a lot of people want to know, am I just buying the gimmicks, and is it just off to go? Like, are the routines taught on the instructional for this?
So I know that there's the Zoom one taught for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's mine taught for sure. So that's 2 right there. But like the main routine, which is like what I brought to Vortex, is on there. And then the Paul Romani Zoom version is on there as well.
Good to know.
Sure.
So when you guys buy this, you're not just buying the trick. You're also going to get some routines, get your mind, get the wheels turning, get you going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to reiterate, if you can do a card to impossible location with this, I'd be for it. I'd love to see a video of it because it can be done. I just haven't worked out a full routine for that yet.
There you go. You heard it here. So it can be done. He just hasn't gotten around to figuring all the details out. You know, Danny's a dad. He's busy. Moved to a new house recently. You know, look, adulting. I call it adulting. You know.
Adulting, yeah, that's for sure. Sure.
Yep. All right, man. Well, I'm going to let you get out of here. We definitely wanted to grab a few extra minutes with you. Everyone saw the trailer, so now hopefully they have a little bit more information about Manifest from the one and only Mr. Danny Weiser. I have a feeling we'll be doing this again. Hopefully see each other in person first before we do one of these, and then we'll do another one again. I know the world's weird. We need to be able to sit down and hang out sometime. So, yeah.
Yes, I would love that very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. By the way, I just want to give you a shout out. You do a really, really great job on this page. For Murphy's, on this page, on Instagram. I mean, you keep our community engaged. You bring creators like myself on to be able to help promote their products. I really think you should continue doing the trivia game stuff. I loved that. Yeah. You know, when I was out in Chicago for the year, I went to trivia every Tuesday night.
Oh, cool.
It was the best. I love trivia. So if you can continue doing that, you have my vote.
All right. I will try. It's just, I think I mentioned to you this before, it's just hard to find stuff that people can't Google and find really, really easy and really quick. Yeah. But I liked doing it. It was fun.
It was definitely engaging.
Cool.
But you do a great job, Luke.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
I appreciate it, man. Well, thank you. And right back at you, man. I mean, obviously, we're kind of back to back on your releases, but, you know, you have a lot of other stuff out there. So all you need to do, speaking of Googling, if you guys want to see even more Danny Weiser magic, just type in his name and you will find much more from the man himself. So, Danny, thank you so much for the time. And you guys, great questions out there. And we will catch you next time. So stay tuned. We got much more stuff coming your way. You know where to find it right here. See you guys.